There's this fantasy. Some may deny it, others call it immoral, but it resides in all of us. It's the unquenchable thirst for getting something you impossibly can. Yep, buckle up everyone. This video will be about gay men falling for straight ones. And look, I realize this is a sensitive topic, and as a gay man, I see the inherent issue of talking about this, but cut me some slack, alright? I can't just tell you about how much I love communism all the time. So, do you ever get so depressed that you're too lazy to masturbate? No? Just me? Well, anyway, when that happens, I usually just wrap myself up in a warm blanket, put myself to bed, and go read some cheesy old erotic literature. And the first time I did this, I was surprised to notice that most of the gay erotic amateur literature isn't really about two gay men at all. My straight best friend and I become more than that. My straight roommate catches me nude. Me and my boss have sex in his office. He's straight. Well, okay, that last one was a joke, but you catch my drift. Now, the sudden realization of someone's sexuality can be a spicy and very wholesome topic for erotic literature. I think all of us humans have had that one moment of sexual reawakening or realization, and putting it into a very positive light can be a wholesome experience for the reader as well as cathartic for the writer. Realizing I'm gay while fucking a supermodel certainly would have been a step up from what actually happened to me. Unfortunately, this lighter interpretation of the way hetero men are used in the online space isn't the topic for this video, because I think there is much more interesting power dynamics at play here, and we'll get to those soon enough. Tonight, you will meet two monsters trapped in here with me. Both of them terrible human beings on their own right. You will get to meet them and judge them for their faults. And then you can decide if they are innocent or not. Enjoy. And please don't pity them too much, yes? So, chances are you discovered your sexuality in your teens. Furthermore, as a gay teen, it's safe to assume that you've had your fair share of run-ins with bullies. And a chronic overthinker like me certainly would not stop thinking and being depressed about them all day long. So much so that thoughts about them started popping up in weird situations. And why wouldn't they? My image of a typical gay man at the time was an effeminate pink monster. And since I was taught to look down upon femininity anyway, what else should I be thinking about? Now I know what you're thinking. Did you just admit to masturbating to your bullies on camera? Maybe, but that's not what is important right now. What is important right now is that while they were making me cry by day, in my head, I was making them moan by night. Not only did this help me figure out my sexuality, in a fucked up way, it was also the only method of me regaining some semblance of strength over this situation. To them, I was trash. To me, they were meat. Same-sex attraction works a bit differently than heterosexual one. Many of my friends have expressed that when they feel particularly attracted to someone, they feel an odd mix of raw attraction and jealousy, very much blurring the lines between wanting to be with that person and, well, wanting to be that person. Apply this to the topic at hand and excuse you. I certainly don't want to be no smelly ass hetero. Well, okay. Maybe you don't literally want to be a straight man, but I think it's undeniable that many gay men have at least wondered once in their life how it would all be if they wouldn't be gay. And look, I know that the consensus is that they wouldn't want it any other way, and that it's perfectly fine to be gay, and this is a positive thing, I'm totally for it. I also think that I've made so many special connections and friendships and seen so many things and, you know, lived so many special experiences specifically because I'm gay. But I do think it's a bit tone deaf to act as if being gay is all sunshine and rainbows. Because if I'm honest, if I could choose, I'd still want to be straight. Be it for the sheer amount of partners that are now available to me, the easier time at work with colleagues, or well, even the added testosterone when working out. Okay, that last one is a joke, please don't come for me. You know, I was also that gay kid that kept making fun of other gays and kept telling his friends about how he's so much different than other gays, because if you've been paying attention to this channel, you know that there's nothing minorities love doing more than ridiculing minorities. This gave me brownie points, because I not only became the cool, edgy kid, I also was nothing like the other stereotypical gays. By this point, it was clear that I had a type, and said type wasn't gay men. I've made quite my share of experiences with so-called straights running away from their sexuality with excuses such as being drunk or just needing something during a dry spell. Whatever gets them off, I guess. Soon, I realized that these men too carried the oh-so-gross femininity I hated so much inside of them. No, I knew that if I were to quench this thirst of mine, I needed it straight from the source. Lucky for me, by my late teens I had made quite a few straight friends who loved getting naked for dares or just having fun in general. Soon enough, I was watching Strip Before Me on the regular. To them it was all just fun and games. And to me too, or so they thought. Sadly, for as much delicious content they gave me, I was never satisfied. I always needed more. And lucky for me, I knew how to get it. It wasn't weird if I was naked too. Come on, dude, it's just a joke. Play along. What? I never forced anyone to do anything. They did it all by themselves. They craved the attention, but they'd never admit it. Oh fuck you, they deserve to be exploited. They were men at the peak of their youth and beauty, wasting it all on nothing. Staying virgins forever. At least someone got something out of it. No, I mean, I only ever really fall for someone when they are special to me, you know? I need that kind of personal connection. And yeah, I mean, I meet gay guys at parties, but they are so superficial. They only go for looks. And, you know, looking for one-night stands. I just can't deal with that, you know? So most of the time I just find myself waiting for the right guy. Oh, you mean that one over there? I don't know, he has pink hair, that looks really obnoxious. So, as we talked about earlier, this fascination doesn't come from nowhere, and online people are much more open when expressing their interests, specifically sexual ones. So much so that there's often vivid discussions of how to trick straight men into performing gay acts, or how to seduce them, or how to make them do certain things. We're following stories of varying success. Yes, David, I'm glad you got a blowjob from your straight roommate. That totally isn't rape. We stan Queen. Obviously, most of these are fake. But it doesn't change the morbid intentions behind them. Now, it also needs to be said that straight men too have noticed this interest in them. And there's many sites on which straight men post nude pictures for money, attention, or compliments. And they are essentially exploiting gay men for it. This is so popular that it's become pretty much the norm to state that you are bisexual. If you're a gay man, this makes you more exotic, and if you're a straight man, this makes you more desirable, because many gay men will think that there might be a chance if you leave the door open. This not only ridicules real bisexual men, but it's also all shades of fucked up. I could get more into this, but this really isn't the topic of this video. By this point, I bet you might be wondering why I'm making this video in the first place, as it's such an uncomfortable topic, and God knows I've been really uncomfortable making this and writing this. And I know that it's really hard for hetero men to be the victims for once, but guys, just take this win. At least now you have something to genuinely be angry about, instead of video games or whatever you're usually yelling for. What I'm trying to do with this video is simple. I want to push this idea that toxic behavior is something present in any sexual orientation. Recently online, there's been so much more awareness with behavior patterns like nice guys or incels of both genders in the heterosexual space. And I just think it's fair that this gets pushed into queer spaces as well. But because the gays have already so many fights to brave, this behavior often gets undermined or overlooked, or worse yet, reduced to gay men just being sexually deviant or predatory by nature. No, hey, I appreciate you trying, but I just don't think now is the right time. Okay, so you know Ben, right? So remember what I told you when I first met him? No, not that. I said, wow, me and this guy could become really good friends. He's so ugly, I'd never fall for him. So over the past months, we've been getting a lot closer. You know, yeah, as friends. We're always there for each other, helping each other out with all kinds of things, you know? And over time, he's started to know all my secrets. He knows all about things I've done, bad things that happened to me. I don't think there's ever been a man that quite accepted me as openly as that. And he did it all with a smile. And you know, without realizing it, I started developing feelings for him. And once I did realize it, it was already too late. I was so jealous. And I know this isn't completely my fault. You can't really control who you fall in love with, right? My friends say this isn't any different from a man just falling for a girl that would never date him. But to me, this does feel different. I feel ashamed of having feelings towards him. I feel like a pervert whenever I even just think about us kissing. Maybe I am being too hard on myself, but I just know that this isn't how things are supposed to be. And sure, I would love to fall for a gay guy, but most of the time when I meet gay people, they just look at me trying to evaluate if I'm pretty enough to fuck, and if I am, I'll see them once, and if I'm not, then I'll never see them again, period. So why do you want to fuck your best friend? Well, if you've paid attention in this video, there's actually quite a few reasons why that might be the case. But essentially, you're not special for it, this isn't a different struggle because you're gay, and you really should get a hold of yourself. But there's one last piece to this puzzle that I haven't talked about yet. Truth is, I think so much of our understanding of the world is inherently heteronormative that we try to apply this logic into queer dating as well. I see so many gay men on dating apps stating that they are straight acting and looking for a straight acting man. I don't have to explain why this is fucked up, right? Like, we can all agree that this is fucked up? Now, obviously, what they actually mean is that they are looking for a very masculine man. But this attitude not only is very dumb, misses the mark in what this is actually about. Obviously, some men are more masculine and other men are more feminine, but what these people are looking for doesn't exist. It's an inherent contradiction. And over the years, I've learned that there's nothing as attractive as a man openly living out their more feminine sides. This past year, I've never felt so confident and reassured in my identity as a man as on the days I went to the gym with painted nails. Here's the deal. We are all men seeking other men. Putting each other into these categories and boxes serves no purpose other than to divide us. And look, I'm saying this well knowing that there's nothing that gets my dick softer than a skinny twink sliding into my DMs on Instagram. But there is such a thing as a difference between sexual preference and sexuality. Because the reality is that while we are a smaller section of the population, there's much more gay men out there than you might think. And I'm sure that there's someone that will interest you. You might just need to look a bit further than the straight fitness trainer down the road. And it's just so frustrating, you know? Of course I don't want to sleep with somebody I just met, but I just never get the chance to really build up that connection I need to truly fall in love with someone. Oh? Yeah, he knows, I told him. He's being really nice and chill and supportive about it, but I can't put this on him. At the end of the day, this is on me, right? I'm the one that let myself go and overstep boundaries, right? Look, I know this isn't 100% how this works, but the last thing I want to do is lose him as a friend. Yeah, John is just that important to me. I mean, Mike. I mean, wait. This isn't the first time this happened. Oh God. How many times did this happen?
Kill him. Make him suffer. He deserves it. Kill him.
Stop!
Play the victim.
Nobody's the victim here. All of this is normal.
Kill yourself.
You will never be normal. You are destined to rape. You're a perversion.
No. I realize now that I deserve love. And I am looking for it. And you wanna know why? Because I love myself.